Doctor Who, Peter Cushing, and Daleks Invasion Earth, 2150 AD. Here we go. It's time for Spoiler Town. Where I will be retelling what happens in the movie, the second Doctor Who movie starring Peter Cushing, and giving some reaction to it. This one, so I've done several of these spoiler towns for Doctor Who, and this one is I did the notes for these a little differently because there were no subtitles. I'm always disappointed when I get a DVD or a Blu-ray and there is no subtitle option. Because sometimes you can't quite hear what someone says in the movie or show, and it's nice to have the subtitle up in case you maybe didn't hear what they said. So when I was doing the notes, I didn't focus as much on dialogue. I just focused on what was happening. So it went quicker. Okay, and then the theme music, the music that comes up during the opening credits, I felt that music, the style of that music, reminded me of Hanna-Barbera music. I should have had my phone over here. And now I do. I took a screenshot of who did the music in the second Doctor Who movie with Peter Cushing, Daleks Invasion Earth, 2150 AD. Okay, the music was composed and conducted by Bill McGuffey. So that's who did the music. It says the electronic music. The electronic music was by Barry Gray. Okay. So maybe because this was made, the Doctor Who movies were made in the 60s, so maybe that's why I felt it was reminiscent of other music that apparently, yeah, I think that was also done in the 60s. This Hanna-Barbera music. So I have a couple of them here that I really like. A couple of my favorites. Hanna-Barbera productions. So the style, of the music. Not sure if the year is on here, but I think these were made in the 60s. Thunder the Barbarian. I think that might have been 80s. It's hard to tell because some shows that I watched, I thought they were modern or contemporary. I thought they were made at the time I was watching them, but I didn't realize they were made uh, decades before. I kind of figured though with like some Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Looney Tunes, some of those you can it probably should have been obvious because they had some historical characters that I wasn't familiar with, or some that I were that I knew were uh, from decades before in these cartoons. So it does seem like they were probably made. I should have realized they were probably made decades before. That they weren't contemporary. But the Herculoids. Okay, so, well, here's Thunder the Barbarian. I'll show this first. This is a Hanna-Barbera production, a cartoon that I really liked when I was young. I remember I really liked his light sword. I suppose it kind of reminded me of Star Wars, the lightsaber, and the character this guy. He looked kind of weird. So that the style of that music and the style of this cartoon that I really liked, the Herculoids. So another Hanna Barbera. So that was fun to watch. But this one was pretty sure this was made in the 60s. So I was surprised when I found out this was not contemporary. So I watched it when I was young, back in the 80s. So I thought it was an 80s show. So the Flintstones, that's another example of one. And I think that was another one that was originally made in the 60s. When I was watching it in the 80s, I thought it was contemporary, I think. Probably. So the style of this Hanna-Barbera music, the Herculoids and Thundar the Barbarian, I think more so with the Herculoids, it reminded me of the same of the style of, well, the other way around, the style of the Daleks invasion Earth, the style of this music, at least the music, the opening credits music, that style of music reminded me of the Hanna-Barbera music, Thundar the Barbarian, and the Herculoids, but more so the Herculoids. So I was thinking, is that the same person? Was that the same guy that did the music? That's why I mentioned before on my phone who the music was made by, because I was trying to think, was that the same person that made the music? Is that why they sounded similar to me? But I looked in the credits. There's no credit for who did the music for these Hanna Barberas. So I don't know. I didn't look it up. It probably isn't the same person who did the music as the uh, Doctor Who movies, or the second one anyway. It's probably just because it was from that era of the 60s. Except for this Thundar the Barbarian. I don't think that was from the 60s, but I could be wrong. I think I'm just going by the style of the animation. It doesn't look like it doesn't look like the same kind of style um, of animation. So maybe, yeah, to me the Thundar looks more 80s. I can see how the Herculoids is from the 60s. Okay, so now I'm going to be entering Spoiler Town for Daleks Invasion Earth 2150 AD with Peter Cushing, the second Doctor Who movie. Okay, so it starts with a cop being attacked by a robber. The cop is played by Bernard Cribbins, who also played Donna's grandfather in the new Doctor Who series during David Tennant's time as the Doctor. I have the complete fourth series for Doctor Who here with Catherine Tate. Yeah, Catherine Tate as Donna. There's a Santaran on there. I was just recently watching The Time Warrior with John Pertwee and Elizabeth Sladen. Okay, so yeah, Bernard Cribbins was in this season playing the grandfather of Donna. He was also in the I have the Doctor Who, the complete specials here. So more with David Tennant. I think Bernard Cribbins was just in The End of Time. It says part 1 and part 2. So I'm not sure if it was just part 2. He was at least in part 2. He was in the finale. Yeah, I think so. Because he had a pretty significant moment with the end of David Tennant's time. David Tennant's time as the Doctor. Yeah. Okay, so that's Bernard Cribbins is the cop in Daleks Invasion Earth 2150 AD. So he plays the cop. All right, the robber gets away with his gang. They were robbing a jewelry store. the cop sees the TARDIS police box and enters it. After seeing that it's much larger on the inside than the outside, the cop faints. Alright, I think I'll stop there. This video's long enough right now.